Hey everyone, this is Edmund with Tabletop Gaming Guild. Today I'm going to be going over Bear Raid. It's a game that I picked up this year out at Origins. It is by Board Game Table, and it is a game that plays 3 to 6. It is a stock game that doesn't really play like a stock game. It's not too number heavy. A few of my friends who are not into the crunchier games, especially not into, let's say, the 18xx style stock games that I personally love, they like this game. It's a little more of back and forth, tug of war, trying to guess what your other opponents are doing, and taking advantage of information that you are personally privy to. Anyway, let's go ahead and do a rules overview, take a look at how the game is played, and then I'll come back with my thoughts. So I have Bear Raid here set up for a 3-player game. With 3 players, we'll be playing that over 9 rounds, which is also how many news story cards here that are out for each company. I have to say that I love the artwork for this game, and I also am appreciating the sense of humor. You know, we have the card company, Edison, Game Start, and Banana. I can't imagine what real companies these are based off of. Anyway, it does give me a lot of kind of the vibes of the networks, and I love that game too. So I would say it's high praise. Anyway, so with the 3-player game, 9 rounds, the game goes up to 6, and in that case we'll just add one more company each time for each player that you add to the game, and you also have one less round. So all the way to 6 players, you'll only have 6 rounds in the game. So let's go ahead and take a look at the player board setup area. So with the player board here, everyone will be given 4 stocks at the beginning of the game, randomly determined from the bag, and you will mark on your board behind your screen what stocks you have. So this player here got 3 Game Start shares, and so to mark it, you basically say I have 3 positive ones here, and you kind of have a discard side off to the side here. You also get 4 dice at the beginning of the game, and this is kind of your hidden information that you know when we get to the dice phase that you'll be using to kind of stack the bag on what's likely to happen in the resolution of news stories. Whenever you go to short shares, you will mark them below here. So if I sold 4 shares of Edison, I would wind up being at -3 shares. So you sell off the one you have, and then you go and take enough share tokens to be able to mark that you're at -3. And that's how the player board works. So that is how the multiplayer boards here work for keeping track of your stocks. Anyway, the game is played with 3 different phases in each round. The action phase, the dice phase, and then the resolution phase, where we will then resolve each of these different news stories that are out there. As you can see, the news stories come in 3 different flavors: good news, neutral news, and bad news. And we'll be fighting with each other, trying to adjust either the stock market's opinion, whether they're bullish on the stock or bearish, and also trying to influence with these dice here how much this news is in the news cycle. Basically, the lower the pip count, the more that news is suppressed, be it good news or bad news or neutral news. So yeah, I would describe this game less like a traditional stock game and more like a tug of war, which I feel almost ironically makes it function like how the stock market does, where what's in the news and how much you can control everyone's opinion of that news matters almost more than what you're actually producing. But that's a whole nother thing. So let's get to the action phase. In the action phase, you'll do one of a handful of different actions. You can buy stock, you can short or sell stock, you can take any number of dice from each of these different companies, and you can place up to 3 dice from behind your board onto the rumors card. More on the rumors card here in a moment. So when you buy stock, you will take, there's basically the only stock that's available when you go to buy is whatever shares are currently on the board. At the end of each round, we will reset the boards to 5 available shares, no matter how many are missing or how many have been added in the previous round. When you're buying stock, you pay the share price until you get to one of these modifiers. These modifiers add $5, $5 more, and this makes this share $10 more, which in this case would be $35 to buy that specific share. Shorting shares is the same way. The first 2 no modifiers, so you get the full value, then -5, and eventually -10. Next thing you can do is take dice. The dice you can take is, you can take all of them, you can take just a couple of them, or you can place dice. You can place up to 3 of them, or the last action you can do is, if you really do not want to do anything, is you can pass. The actions will be taken, you get 2 actions. You'll start with the first player, go clockwise, everybody takes 1 action, then the last player will take a second action, and you'll go back the other way. So kind of going last is kind of middling almost, as opposed to actually being bad, because you're not getting first action, but you are getting 2 in a row. So let's go through one round here and see how this plays out. So we'll start with over here on the first player. He's looking at his board, already kind of invested into Bananas and Edison, which right now both of them do not look good for where they stand. He also knows that he's sitting last he's got first and last pick, so doesn't want to tip his hand quite yet. That right now he's holding on to 2 GameStop dice, and so has a little bit of control over their fate here when we come to the rolling here. So so they're going to go ahead, and their first action is going to be buying shares of Banana. So taking a look at it, this would be 50, 80 to buy 3 shares of Banana. So they'll throw in $80, and then behind their board change their count to 5 shares. Next player, heavily into GameStop, is liking how it goes, knows that they have 2 of their dice to help stack it, so they kind of like where things are looking right now for GameStart. They're then kind of questioning Edison. It's got the bad news out there, a lot of dice. So they're not certain how they want this to go. So they are going to... it's a tough position. They also know that they're betting heavy, written into a bull market. So they are fine with it being a bull market and are going to short Banana, because they're going to try and compete with them, because they know that they have some of their dice and they probably going to withhold them. So, leaving it in a bear market, they're going to sell 1, 2, 3 shares, and that's going to be $80 to them. So they fill out 3 shares onto here, and then take 2, put behind their board to show that they've shorted 3 shares. Third player, sitting here, it goes, let's say, they're kind of all over the place. Nobody's really making any moves on Edison, which they like. So they're going to bet heavy on Edison, especially since they get to act twice here. They are going to spend 80. To buy 3 shares of Edison. And then, because they want to suppress this news, they're just going to take these 3 dice. Now we adjust the marker, and that now puts them to where they're actually going up in share price right now. Alright, then we go back to the second player. And they see now what they are doing with Edison. And originally they were going to take the yellow dice to tank it, but they figure they're not going to tank Edison this round, so they're probably they're guessing they are at least keeping those 3 dice that they took for Edison, and since they have no dice for Edison, they have to assume that they're either in the bag or the other players have them. So they're going to buy Edison, especially since they've got money to, but it's steep right now. You want, buying Edison might not be the best idea at the moment. I mean, they can afford the 2 shares, but is that really going to make their position better? No. They want to suppress the celebrity endorsement, because right now it is a bull market. So they're going to take both of the yellow dice. Alright, and then back to the first player. And seeing how things are going right now, they're not too happy about that change. So their action is they're going to put the 2 yellow dice here onto the rumors card to make sure that at least 2 of them get enrolled, to at least make it so their investment in bananas doesn't change. Alright, and that's the end of the action phase. So everyone can then pretend, basically you'll pass the bag around. You can pretend that you're putting dice in. They're going to throw their 2 purple ones in, and like they are wanting to suppress this, so they're keeping all those. They want to keep as much of their red ones as possible, so they're throwing those 2 in there. Then we draw. Looks like we have exactly 9 dice. Alright. So you then roll these up. And adjust the news accordingly. That's right. So whenever resolving cards, you'll notice that there is the area in the middle, 0. 0 is on the bull side of the board. For when that matters. So let's go ahead and resolve these here. So we're going to take a look here at I believe that's by player count. All right. Well, no, it's by the bull number. That's right. So we're going to take a look at GameStop here. It is currently bull 0, which that is a $10 increase to the price. Alright, we look at banana. Right now they are sitting at 8, 11, 16. Alright, and they are currently on the bull side, so that is a $5 bump to their share price. Edison, we go and take a look at it. It's at 4, and that is a $10 bump to their share price. Then we go ahead and reset. And do that for 8 more rounds. A few other things that happen at the end of the round. So, a few things that can happen. If the share price goes above $45, the stock splits. So that means everybody doubles their amount of shares that they have behind their screen, whether it's shares owned or shares shorted. So if you have 3 shorted and it splits, you now have 6 shorted. Alright. If the share price should ever go below $5, aka hit 0, the company goes bankrupt. Everyone returns all their shares, and if you had any shares shorted, you now owe no money back to the bank at the end of the game because the company went bankrupt. And that's kind of what you wanted. You'll pass first player at the end of the round. The game ends once the final card is resolved. You then receive money, and either positive, negative, depending upon where your shares are at that point in the game, and whoever has the most money wins. So that is how you play Bear Raid. It is a fairly simple game, not a whole lot of different working pieces, and it is also a very easy teach. So if you're looking for a game to either end the night on, or something to kind of bring in your friends who are a little less number crunchy, do not like the big heavier games, especially games like, let's say, 18xx stock games that I kind of like, then this is a great game for them. The stock theme can maybe scare a few people off, but once you kind of go through the rules and kind of show them a little bit of the humor that's in play here, I got all my less number crunchy friends to play, and they all enjoyed it. Especially one of them who was already a little inebriated at that point at Origins. Anyway, so for me, it's kind of, there's 2 big things that I care about when looking to get a game. Is it one that I feel like it's a good one to add to my collection, whether or not it's a buy, must buy, and for me this was definitely a buy game, obviously because I bought it. And as far as kind of collectability, I mean, if you like this art style, and also are the type of person who's hosting or teaching games or bringing games to a game day frequently, this is definitely, I think, a great, about an hour-longish game to bring for those and to add to your collection. So for me, it was easy buy and easy want for my collection. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them below, and I'll see you all at the table.